Oh man, here we are on another Sunday evening. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Bitchuation Room podcast live stream, to the people here present, currently living in the moment, to the people brushing their teeth who can't be alone. Raise your hands. Anyone feel like silence is loneliness? Yeah, isn't that weird? Welcome. I am your host, Francesca Fiorentini. You've seen me on the thing and that other thing that one time that your friend shared, and then you don't remember, but then you'll approach me in a Vons, and then I'll feel good for like a second, and then I'll never see you again, sir. Where have you gone? We have such a good show today. I am super excited to have comedian Gareth Reynolds of the Dollop podcast. You might have heard of him. He's wonderful. He's going to be joining me for the hour very, very soon. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things. Got to talk about Nancy Reagan. I'm sorry. I'm not above it. Okay. Listen to another podcast if you don't want to talk about the Reagans and blowjobs. Okay. It's just going to happen. It's going to happen. Give me this gift, my daily bread. I don't know what I'm saying. But anyway, in addition to some serious things, obviously, tornadoes throughout the middle of the country, and what Amazon is doing about it or not doing about it. And then for our sitch, we're going to be talking to two candidates for LA City Council. And even if you're not in LA, this city is offering a pretty interesting model for how to actually, transform our current sort of like rapidly gentrifying on fire hellscape. So like if you live in a rapidly gentrifying hellscape, you might want to just stick around and like talk to Eunisses Hernandez and Hugo Soto-Martinez, who are both running for a city council. So I'm super excited to talk to them. And then remember, this show doesn't just span the time that the show spans. There's more show after this. And in fact, Gareth and I are going to be breaking down what's going on with the great Santa shortage of 2021. All right. The labor shortage, yes, is hitting Father Christmas. And so I want to break it down. Got some good clips for y'all. Wondering why. I wonder if you guys know why. Why are there not enough Santas? Maybe it's time for Santas to be women. Triggered. So make sure to like the like button, and if you don't have a like button on your phone, just lick your phone for me right now. That'll be great. And lick all 5 stars. Don't miss the 5th. Lick all the 5 stars on the podcast. The reason I mentioned that bonus episode, see, I forget my train of thought, is that in order to get that bonus, you're going to have to become a patron. And that you can do very simply by going to patreon.com/bitchuationroom. You get access to all the exclusive content right down to your little earbuds, your little AirPods, your little, small cancer causing machines in your ears. So do that, and you can listen and you can watch live. Also, do you guys have your merch yet? These are all the announcements. You need Frantifa swag, guys. Bitchuationroom.com is where you get that. And guess what? If you buy a piece of merch, take a photo of yourself with it, hashtag Frantifa swag, and post it on any of the social medias, maybe Facebook too. I don't know. I haven't been on Facebook in a while, but it's probably there too. I'm raffling off 3 of my favorite books. We Own the Future. I've got a chapter in it about stand-up and socialism. No big deal. How to Change Everything by Naomi Klein. Revolution in the Air. So get your merch, guys. There's only been like 8 or 9 entries, which like that's fair. Like I'm not going to pretend like there need to be 600 entries, but like we can at least get to like 15, So get your merch. We're going to be closing, I believe, on December 25th. So it'll be like a New Year's present. So you have until December 25th to do that and to enter in. And there's going to be a lock of my cat's hair in the box. So don't miss out on that. Finally, remember, we're going to be at SF SKETCHFEST on January 9th with Nato Green and Black Lives Matter co-founder Alicia Garza. So get your tickets to that. It's going to be super good. Super fun. We're going to be at Piano Fight in the big room. That is Sunday, January 9th at 8 o'clock. Get them ticks, baby. there's been some talk about moving the fart song earlier. So for those of you who are upset by that, I don't care. To those of you who don't know what the fart song is, get ready. But this is just to thank all of the people who have supported the show, who are patrons at $10 or more, who get this shout out. This is the fart song. Yes. Yes. Oh, wait. No, I muted it. Damn it. Starting again. Hang on. What the? What? Oh. Hang on. Here we go. Thank you. Thank you to the big tippers. There are no big tippers. I just read that because I'm frazzled. But you could be a big tipper if you tip on Venmo, TBR-Live, TBR Live on Cash App. This is very fun. To the new patrons at $10 or more, D. Rocky, David S., and Joseph L. Save that big fart for you, Joseph. Thank you so much. And to the Twitch subs, Hippie's back. Thank you so much for resubscribing on Twitch. You guys do that. Give me some Bezos bucks. That's me just sort of reappropriating all of the billions. You know how many billions of dollars? In the fart song, Jeff Bezos is probably like $500 million richer just in this time. So why don't you become a Twitch subscriber and give me that money? And for everybody else, I'll be waiting. But thank you to all the patrons, anyone who gives anything. You're the best. And with that, let's get into it. What are you bitching about today? So I don't know if you've been following the news, but the House of Reps, Representatives, the House, they approved a National Defense Authorization Act worth $778 billion annual, 1 year. That's 1 year. Yeah, maybe there's a little bit of leftover spending. I don't know. But, and not only did they approve a giant package for the militaries and just spanning the globe, they approved $25 billion more than President Joe Biden even asked for. Now, $25 billion is sort of ringing in people's ears a little bit because it also happens to be the amount that it would cost to get everyone in the world vaccinated. Like to get to a safe place of vaccinations, to be able to support, as we talked about last week, labs in different countries to be able to produce their own vaccine without the patents. $25 billion. So instead of directing that to actually keeping people safe, we just directed it to, I don't know, a $15 bottle of water. I'm not sure. What are we actually directing the money to when it comes to the military? What hot war are we involved in? What Cold War should we know about that we're involved in? Well, here's one thing we're doing around the world in a lot of military bases. Leaking jet fuel into water streams. So this is a week where we learned that in Oahu, the Navy has been leaking jet fuel, has a jet fuel leak that's been leaking into the drinking water of Hawaiians, straight up. And they don't know how to stop it. They don't really know where it's coming from. And people are dying. People's pets are dying. People's families are sick. People are going, and this has been months in the making. So it's an interesting week because it's emblematic of the kinds of sort of low-level atrocities that are happening in military bases, American military bases around the world, right? To say nothing of whether we need them, like the kinds of environmental and community devastation that they cause. Somehow we just keep on funneling money into that shit. So I'm bitching about the fact that meanwhile, we've got the Build Back Better Act, which has been whittled down to $1.75 trillion, or I don't know, depending on which news outlet you look at, it's like it goes back and forth. It fluctuates depending on, I don't know what the clothing budget for Kyrsten Sinema is within that. But 1.75 trillion over 10 years. Over 10 years! Meanwhile, the military-industrial complex gets $778 billion in a year. The things we could do, you guys. The things we could do. So, of course, I'm bitching about that. Of course, it's probably going to pass the Senate. I understand that some House members try and slide in sort of more forward-thinking proposals in this massive defense bill, but that never get passed. It's sad. Every year, this is like the one thing that there's broad consensus on, and I'm waiting for Democrats to say no for once. But they don't. Some do, not enough. Anyway, join me in this bitch fest. And for it, I'm bringing in for the hour. He was a writer on Arrested Development and hosts the podcast, The Dollop, which is so fucking funny and good. Please welcome Mr. Gareth Reynolds.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Francesca. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm nice and I feel good after your bitch session. I feel like, yeah, we're
Hell
back.
yeah. Jet fuel water.
When this war that we're expecting happens, nobody's going to be more ready than us.
I haven't mentioned that I'm without producer. I don't know. There's like without producer is sort of a formal way to say it. So I'm like running all the buttons and things myself.
Sans-ducer, sure.
Yeah, sans-ducer is what it's called.
Yeah,
it's what I say after I use the restroom.
that's the fart song.
Yeah, that is the fart song.
That's the band that does the fart song, the Sans-ducers.
Yeah, they're great. No, it's Kevin MacLeod, lest you forget, the man who's donated all of his music to the internet. Good old Kevin MacLeod.
Yeah.
Coming in, he does all my music. He doesn't know he does my music, but he does.
Right. Sure.
He's a royalty-free king, He's a zaddy. He's a royalty-free zaddy.
That's nice. Yeah. He's a giver.
He's a giver. He's a generous
like the
lover.
Pentagon. Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So Gareth, you heard what I was bitching about. You don't have to match my obvious, passion and fury and fire and fury. But what are you bitching about this evening?
Well, there's so much. I'm sure you have trouble, as you suggested, whittling it down. By the way, your setup, even sans deuce, you're great setup. Whereas I just look like from the bunker. I do have a painting above me.
Wait. Can you just please fan up again?
Sure. Gladly.
Oh my God.
That's my regal beast. And here I am. It's a letdown. But
Gareth just panned up for the audio listeners. Gareth just panned up to reveal a painting.
Yes.
Of his tuxedo cat.
Yes.
And I am the owner of a tuxedo cat, and so that's sort of why I reached out. I mean, I'm like a fan in quotation marks, but mostly I was like, let me see that cat.
Yeah, Jose's the gateway. I get that.
Okay, I apologize for interrupting. Yes, tell me. And thank you for the compliment. Yeah.
I think that I would narrow it down. Well, I'll go the other end of the spectrum, but I will say I think the extradition of Assange and the unbelievable nature of how, the way that Joe Biden continues to sort of replicate Trump and just gets away with it for reasons that I guess are, well, I understand them. But I would say this, in South Dakota, they are having teachers do a thing called Dash for Cash, where teachers basically get to make instead of having like the little, Pope mobile thing, they put people in where the money is kind of going through a fan. They've just kind of thrown money on the ground and teachers kind of go at it and get little, like grabs of money, and it's for them to use in the classroom.
Oh my. Okay, so
when
you're scrolling,
better. The more you go into it, it just gets better with the details, I think.
I mean, that's insane, and I feel I'm sad now we're not covering it in detail because it was one of the things that I just like scrolled through on Twitter, and someone was like, "So there's capitalism for you," and I was like, "Yeah, people running and grabbing money. That looks great. Whatever. Not everything is Squid Game. I didn't know they were teachers.
Turns out everything is Squid Game. Turns out your gut was wrong. This is just a little South Dakota street Squid Game.
The thing that's fucked up about that more than anything is that if that was your teacher and you were a shitty 12-year-old, you know how much you would clown on them for like not getting in it? Like, yeah. Like, oh my God, I could totally see Mr. Robinson's butt crack or whatever. Like, look at him. Oh, he can't even look at his knees are fucking old. I don't know what they say.
Well,
His
yeah, it
knees
would
are
be
old.
shit like that. I mean, you know, but it's so, it's, you know, the level of humiliation that we're comfortable with. You know, it's just, even over my life, like finding out the teachers are paying out of pocket. Well, once we become comfortable with that, then we expect it. And it's like, you know, a thing that they no longer factor into the budget, to the point where it's like when, you know, people give teachers money for supplies, it is at the point where it's just like, and now we are in the point where it, you know, it's like, hey, we're doing you a favor, you know, like, yeah.
My
And if
God.
God forbid someone breaks their arm, they'll have no health care. So then they'll have to go to like the, you know, the healthcare oil ring where they wrestle for healthcare or something.
They have summers off. Okay, Garrett, there's a long time to heal.
True.
From your self-made tourniquet.
A recharge. Yep.
That's what that's for. When you know, to heal from breaking your arm.
Not paid, but a vacation. You get another job vacation. It's one of those.
You're absolutely right about that. And that's disgusting. And no, we need to not normalize that.
Yeah.
Let's start a call-in campaign. We got there other horrific / fun things happen this week. So we want to get into it all.
Sure.
This was the week where Starbucks workers in one store in Buffalo, New York, voted to form a union, which means Mayor Byron Brown will be staging a write-in campaign to overturn the results.
Of course.
A court ruled that Trump has to turn over documents to the House investigation into the events of January 6th, and you can bet they will not get them by the time he runs for president in 2024. Human rights attorney Stephen Donziger was released from prison earlier this week and will serve the rest of his 6-month sentence from home for the crime of handing the Chevron Corporation its ass and then not sharing with them how he did it. Like, he's not going to tell you how he beat you. The Finnish prime minister, this is all I wrote because I forgot to write the end of this joke. The Finnish prime minister is wonderful. She went out clubbing.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. Party.
Forgot that, yeah. She's like,
it was like a COVID. She was like a teenager ignoring like, hey, go get tested, but she's the prime minister.
Yeah, it's like, let her be.
Listen,
let her live her goddamn life. She's 36.
She's 36. Made me feel old because I was like, man, I'm like a little bit removed from her age, but
I haven't been the prime minister of a country once.
Oh, I've been the prime minister of 2 to 3 nations recently too. I love it. I do actually. Normally, I'm sort of like I do a teacher's schedule. Summers, I just go somewhere and prime minister for most of it. So.
It's really just clubbing in Finland.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that.
A lot of Euro trash. The Supreme Court has upheld a Texas bill that would continue to allow anyone to sue abortion providers, which in response, California Governor Gavin Newsom has said his office will try and introduce a similar bill in California to stop assault weapon sales by allowing people to sue gun manufacturers. To which he then added, and I'll be the first to be held accountable for manufacturing these bad boys, as he took off his shirt and flexed directly into the camera. That didn't happen, but like you can definitely imagine it happening.
I actually read it did happen.
I think we should sue Gavin Newsom for manufacturing them guns, baby. For everything else, this is the week where. So this was the week where tornadoes ripped across 6 states, killing at least 100 people, with hundreds more unaccounted for. The hardest hit state was Kentucky, where a tornado leveled a candle factory that had 100 people working inside, 80 of whom are still unaccounted for. But all eyes are on a different corporation and their negligence, and that is Amazon. Because a tornado hit a small town of Edwardsville in Illinois and also collapsed an Amazon warehouse that killed at least 6 employees. The actual number is not known, in part because the company will not say how many people were in the factory at the time. So this is from the AP. The company's not said how many people were in the building not far from St. Louis when the tornado hit at 8:35 p.m. Friday, part of a swarm of twisters across the Midwest and the South that leveled entire communities. Authorities didn't say they didn't have a full count of employees because it was during a shift change and there were several part-time employees. What? Well, we don't count them as full employees. See, 4 employees equals 1 human being when it's part-time. So our official count is not in. No, okay. So there was a press conference, right? There was the fire chief, officials of Edwardsville came out to talk about the collapse of this warehouse. You know who wasn't there? Amazon or anyone from Amazon. So let's listen to the fire chief explain what happened to that warehouse building.
There's about 150 yards of the building that were impacted by the tornado. The walls on both sides of the building collapsed inward. The roof of the building collapsed downward. So most of the weight of the building landed centrally into the building. These walls are made out of 11-inch thick concrete, and they're about 40 feet tall. So a lot of weight when that came down.
A lot of weight when that came down. And that, again, is a fire chief explaining what maybe Amazon should be explaining. Instead, Amazon's on Twitter. Specifically, the CEO is on Twitter, David Clark. He's doing all that he can. He tweeted this, Gareth. We are deeply saddened by the news that members of our Amazon family... Fuck you.
Honestly, yeah. That's when they're part of a family when they're gone.
Passed away as a result of the storm in Edwardsville, Illinois. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims, their loved ones, and everyone who's been impacted by the storm's path across the U.S.
How is it even possible at this point saying thoughts and prayers is like wearing Ed Hardy? It's just like, look, even if you like it and you think it's effective in some way, it has now lost all it now no longer has any actual resonance as to what it actually means, because it is such a vacuous, simple, it's the easiest thing to do is be like, whoops, our bad, No,
when I saw that, I was immediately like, just don't say thoughts and prayers. Like anything else, condolences, hearts go out. But like that particular phrase means, and I will do nothing about it. And I honestly don't care. Now, more about David Clark. There's a few things you need to know about him, because maybe you're like, whatever, that seems, what is he going to say? What is he going to say? So David Clark might not be against some of the business practices that could have led to this event, or at least preventing the worst of this. Because remember, or not remember, we got to know that these Amazon employees were told to go to work. And it is not clear if they had access to their phones. It is not clear if they were told that there was a tornado in their path, that it was headed right for the warehouse. It's not told whether they were told to evacuate or that Amazon was doing anything to keep them safe. And mind you, there's like rules against having your phone on you. There's rules against being late. There's rules against, if you miss a day because you're afraid. Exactly. There's rules against going to the bathroom, or you're afraid you might get, blown away by a tornado. That's like, no, it's coming out of your paycheck, bro. So how does David Clark feel about this? Well, David Clark used to be known as the sniper of Amazon.
Oh, good. That's good.
It's always good. It's a cute nickname. No, but like a in a good way.
Absolutely.
Sniper.
Yeah, no, one of those positive ones that always come to mind.
So shortly after being named Amazon's global logistics chief in 2013, David Clark held a conference call with his new reports. During the meet and greet, according to a person on the call, Clark described his early career habit of lurking in the shadows of Amazon warehouses and scoping out slackers he could fire, which earned him the nickname the Sniper. Wow.
Ugh. To be the sniper at Amazon, I mean, it's such a low bar. For Amazon to be like, here's our asshole. It's like, whoa, this guy is a king among men. All hail. Yeah.
So they made him CEO, right? Like, you just have to be the biggest piece of shit. Now, see, John isn't lurking the way we'd need him to lurk.
Yeah, no, then you have the lurk squad. It's like, hey, we're actually lurking the lurkers. We believe in lurker rights.
So this was his tweet, and people replied to him, and one of the people who replied to him was in fact an Amazon employee. not in St. Louis, but in Kentucky. This is Leslie Campbell saying, I'm an Amazon worker in Kentucky. Tornado hit 2 miles from my house and I physically couldn't get to work for my shift. The ERC team, which is like the employment something, basically where workers call to be like, this is what my situation is. The ERC team told me that they had no record of tornadoes in Kentucky and couldn't help me with not getting attendance time reduced for today.
I mean, there are alarms going off in a way where it's just like, this company needs to be stopped. It's just, how are we just sitting around like
ordering from Amazon? I mean, it's because like, where else am I gonna buy toilet paper? A store? Are you insane?
Sure. I didn't know they still had those. A friend of mine told me he saw a store the other day, and I said, those are.
That's great. Have you ever been into an Amazon store?
I refuse to.
I went. Okay, one time I bought something on Amazon, just once, maybe more than once, but this one time, I don't frequent it, but I had to return it at an Amazon store, and it was the most dystopian. Like, I felt like they were like selling actual mom and pops. Like they had like they were like taxidermy mom and pops. And be like, this is who used to own this storefront. Now it's whatever, Amazon
everything,
brick and mortar, whatever the fuck they call themselves.
Yeah, they sell brick and mortar.
It's ERC is the Employee Resource Center. David Clark definitely responded to that tweet. He was like, sorry.
Oh my God. What? He did?
He did. He said, sorry, Leslie. I shared with the team and we will get it fixed for you all.
What fix? What are you? I mean, just so like he's not even filling the tweet. Give it like another line or two. You know what I mean? Get to like 130 characters. This is one sentence. He's like, sorry. I'm playing polo. I don't have time to respond to the plebe. Here. Give her 40 letters. Screw it.
So bad. Okay, so there's someone. So okay, this is what happened in the past. Now, going forward, this next week, what's going to happen to folks in the area who work at the warehouse? Apparently, they're being asked to go back to work. So this is from someone on Facebook named Stefan Jones, who says, I'm on the phone with the Amazon ERC, the Employee Resource Center. My apologies. And they're telling me I'll be marked as missed shift, even though the state police just told me to go home. Then he got the nerve to get smart with me and say if I wanted the points removed. Because remember, they're all on like a childlike point system. That's the way Amazon workers have to survive. And then I need to go back to the site and speak to HR. There is no HR management office. It's buried. And the building is surrounded by emergency management and cops. All I know is that he keeps on going on. So let's just look at what he's talking about. Okay, what's the building look like? How's it doing? Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's fine.
I mean, you can see HR from.
Yeah.
Is
it's
it
all
that
HR
pile?
in a way? Yeah. I mean, that's just I mean, it's so unchecked that it just doesn't matter. I don't know how we continue to just live with this festering nightmare that's just this wave will crest at some point. I mean, look at that. Like, why were you late for work? Well, there were 1,800 cops. I'm sorry, it's 2 points off.
Yeah,
we also read you went to the bathroom last week, which we're going to need to talk to you about. That is out of line.
Well, I pissed myself when the tornado was coming at me. No,
that's why we give you the diaper cut. You can have we have diapers. We go to the diaper bin.
It's so unfunny, but it is. You make it somewhat bearable, Gareth. Yeah. So this is, again, there's nothing they can do to prevent the tornado, but everything they could have done to prevent the loss of life. We don't have, let's not get into the candle factory because I have thoughts about like the candle factory or just like, what the 80 people missing? Oh my God. It's a mass casualty event. But anyway, Amazon, which totally has the money to be like, hey, take the day off, take 2 days off. You're fine. We're fine. We're going to be A-okay if y'all don't come to work because there's a tornado coming. and just no remorse and no sort of like no understanding for how people who've lost their loved ones, coworkers, people who are literally being taken out of rubble. Remember, 6 people allegedly, but who knows? I can't imagine if there's 6 people dead in an Amazon warehouse that looks like that, complete rubble. Like, were they moving out of the warehouse? Were they shutting that one down? Because I don't think only fucking 6 people work in a giant Amazon warehouse.
We just don't know. I mean, it's like how Tyson Foods, like, you can't see into their farming houses because they do not want you to know what is actually taking place in there.
Yeah.
It is at the point where, even our government still at least gives us the performative nature of thoughts and prayers, or they wear some sort of clothing that, you know what I mean? Like there's the prayer, it's all performative bullshit. But they at least know how to pull it off. This is just, you can just tell the coldness that exists inside of this company based on the reaction. It's complete. There's not an iota of sympathy.
Yeah.
And
we're going to investigate, or we understand, or anything. No. It's like, be on time, be earlier tomorrow. It's straight up Scrooge behavior. Yeah,
it is. I mean, and honestly, I don't know how you put the genie back in the bottle when it comes to the amount of power and influence that they have over the government at this point. I mean,
nationalize it. All right, let's move on. We got to burn through this next story, but really we could spend 3 hours on it because this was the week where we learned that the woman who just said no actually said yes quite a bit. Nancy Reagan, the former First Lady whose zero tolerance campaign against drugs fueled a culture war that helped lock up thousands of Americans, apparently had a very high tolerance for gagging. Sorry. That's right. Nancy Reagan has been outed. Once again, actually. She's been outed once. Now she's outed again as a fellatio enthusiast. A BJ DJ, if you will. A top wop is what I'm calling it. And I can say that because I'm Italian. Here's my question, Gareth. Imagine sucking that much dick and like never being high for it. That's gotta be tough.
It's the drug. That's the drug. You need your fix. That's what it is. It's the same as putting a needle in the arm. It's just a little more skin related.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, now you might be wondering, what the hell are you talking about, Francesca? How do you know all this? Well, the reason we know all this about Nancy's personal life is because Ben Shapiro's sister, they make more of them, Abby Shapiro, attempted to slut shame Madonna for a recent photo that Madonna posted. So this is Shapiro saying in a tweet, "This is Madonna at 63. This is Nancy Reagan at 64. Trash living versus classic living. Which version of yourself do you want to be?" And it's Madonna, scantily clad on a bed, and Nancy Reagan surrounded by, all of her spawn who hate her. And, in the mist in a countryside. And so that was the tweet. Fine, normal culture war bullshit. And then a few people started replying with this little nugget this is from the Village Voice, talking about an unofficial biography about Nancy Reagan's life, written by an author named Kitty Kelly. According to Kitty Kelly's biography, Nancy Reagan was, quote, renowned in Hollywood for performing oral sex. Just Say Yes, Nancy, in the days when she was Nancy Davis, was known to give the best blowjobs in town. Mm-hmm. Quote, not only in the evening.
Now that's me, by the way. I don't want to jump in. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's crazy, dude. You snatched the crown.
I'm hoping to end up in the White House.
Not only in the evenings, but in offices. That was one of the reasons she was popular on the MGM lot. It must have made her very popular with Ronnie as well, according to this writer. And this is a little bit more. According to the book, this is one of the revelations of the biography. While pursuing an acting career before marriage, Mrs. Reagan had affairs with several men, including actor Robert Walker and a powerful MGM producer who got her an MGM contract in return for sexual favors. Wow, Nancy. Wow.
It's humanizing to me. It's like, oh, she's like us. She's just like us. Nancy, she's just like us. But that tweet with the Madonna Nancy thing is the greatest layup ever. It's also the idea that you know, okay, so Madonna made music that was provocative in your opinion. Nancy Reagan was like dictating the policy of the country to a man whose brain left him like 8 years prior. Like, which one is a more dangerous thing for us to go through? I think the legacy wise, I mean,
yeah, like it just very much like break the strike, send in the scabs, Ronnie.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna send in scabs, and then I get my dick sucked. What? Oh, I didn't understand. I get my dick sucked later. It'll be great, Ronnie. Not now. Oh,
the scabs are on my dick. What? This is okay. So this has also been corroborated because I was trying to find, not a lot of serious journalists are reporting about this to their own detriment. Let's be real, and careers. But like it has been. Apparently, there's a biography of actor Peter Lawford of the Rat Pack who corroborated that. Like, yeah, Nancy Davis went down a lot, and she got
great.
parts. Yeah.
Right.
And it wasn't
got parts
bad.
All right.
Oh, she got them parts.
All right.
Now, the internet is obviously having a pretty fucking amazing time with this. She has been called Throatus.
Solid.
Which is very good.
Yeah.
But this was my particular favorite tweet coming out of everything. Quote, Ben Shapiro's sister tried to slut shame Madonna and inadvertently caused all of Twitter to learn that Nancy Reagan had a Gluck Gluck 9000. America is back, baby.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's very good. Very good.
That's from JL Di Vittorio.
Yeah, there you go.
Di Vittorio.
Yeah, like, we did a two-parter on Reagan on the Dollop with Pat and Oswald, and this is among the a phenomenal like as a journalist myself, I'm saying I can corroborate.
Sure,
as a journalist that in my office have a
and you guys did you guys touch on this tidbit?
Oh, we touched on it. We touched on it like Nancy would have. Absolutely, it got touched on.
Oh, so I just love that. Like there's no coming back from that. The right cannot come back from this detail that now we all know about, and we will hold over you and all of your slut shaming bullshit forever and ever and ever.
I can see them
sucked a lot of dick.
I can see them. Well, you put it like that. That's nice. I can see them sort of using this and like spinning it into like it was a good contraceptive measure for someone who was pro-life, So I see the ads now. Nancy Reagan, trailblazer.
Yeah,
Gluck 9000.
Nancy Reagan, just a purebred Gluck 9000.
Yeah.
You know what I think here's how they spin it. They spin it as like, proof that the Me Too movement was made up. Right. Because how many Glucks are out there?
Yep.
Doing glucking the same.
Part of the business.
It's part of the business. It comes with the territory.
You shake the hands and you shake other things too.
All right, we have to move on and bring in our guest, but before we do, a few comments. Kathy, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. Very appreciated. Fat guy named Tiny on Twitch bitching about, I still want to see the Department of Defense and Department of Education trade budgets for 1 year. Just one. I want to see weapons contractors scrambling for cash
in the streets like teachers do for pencils for their students.
Mm-hmm. Stanley 1953 on Twitch. If you don't know how to stop the leak, then I think the engineer that designed the system should stand there with his finger on the leak till someone does. This is about, I think, the fuel leak in Oahu. Very Simpsons response and solution. I like that. On the tornado, Deathbird says it's not clear if they were told to shelter in a safe location or if there was even a safe location to shelter other than the bathroom. And we know how they feel about employees in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Andrew Martin, no pee breaks on your way to Oz. I think I get that.
Yeah, I do too.
Nancy Reagan, Jeff Curry says, I could have went a long time without hearing about Nancy Reagan sucking off.
Oh,
could you?
Stop it. Stop it. It completes the legacy.
full circle.
The
I mean,
last
it is
part of the trilogy.
It's a little bit of. I mean, I immediately looked up to see if she was dead, and it made me sad realizing she was, because I was like, fuck, like I want her to live.
Reacher for comment, 110. I love the stuff. I still take them down. Nancy, not now. I'll be honest. I got one foot in the grave, but the mouth's still out. Nancy, wheel her out of here. I'll be back.
I've got a gluck gluck. The internet loves me.
Putting her in a
I'm
van.
relevant.
Quiet, Nancy. Put your hand over her mouth. Someone should have done that decades ago.
Gary Cooper, in the 80s, I joked that Nancy Reagan was the brains behind Ronnie. That actually turned out to be true. Oh, I saw what you did. All right, you guys. I am super excited. And by you guys, I mean Gareth and the people listening. I'm super excited to bring in, for the Sitch, 2 candidates for LA City Council, progressive, backgrounds in organizing and union organizing and grassroots organizing. Hey, how's that for a change? This is the Sitch. And joining me, he was born and raised in South Central to street vendors from Mexico and has spent the last 15 years with Unite Here, Local 11, organizing mostly immigrant women in the hotel industry to win higher wages, family health care, and dignity on the job. He's brought his union into community struggles, leading campaigns for immigration justice and against the crooked sheriff's department, especially after an alleged deputy gang member murdered Andres Guardado, the son of one of the workers Hugo organized into the union. And please welcome Hugo Soto-Martinez. Woo!
Hola, Francesca. Hello, Gareth.
Hola.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. I'm enjoying your jokes. I'm having fun.
Oh, good. Yeah.
You're not responsible for anything that's been said on this podcast.
Yes,
Let
he
it
is.
be known.
Yeah, he heard it. Yeah.
He was. He could have chosen to exit at any time.
You're right. Yeah.
I also want to bring in my next guest, who's lived in Highland Park her entire life, fighting with her family to keep their home on the front lines of gentrification. She watched her community suffer as LA divested from vital social programs to overstuff their police budgets, friends, family locked up for petty crimes like cannabis to clear them out of the neighborhood, allowing corporate landlords to swoop in and buy up the neighborhood. She went to school to become the police officer who would have helped her community, but learned that the system wouldn't allow it. So she changed the system. She got a job with the Drug Policy Alliance and helped undo horrifically excessive sentences, reuniting families. She led the charge to shut down one of the most corrupt county jails in the country and diverted money to community benefits. Most recently, she co-chaired Measure J, which won by double digits here in Los Angeles and reallocated $1 billion from the carceral system and into programs that actually address the root causes of crime. Please welcome Eunisses Hernandez. Hi, Eunisses. I think you might be muted.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. This is the first time we've had 4 people on the show at the same time.
Yay.
How's
Hi,
it
Gareth.
going?
Hi. How are you, Eunisses?
Good, good. How you doing?
Good. Thank you.
So I want to ask you both, Hugo, you're running in District 13, right? And you're running to unseat Mitch O'Farrell, who's become sort of infamous, especially in this pandemic, for forcibly evicting an unhoused encampment in Echo Park, which is in his district, and basically sort of creating this, I would say, like, heartless model for how to so-called clean up a city, which is relying on police, forcing people into housing, whether they want it or not, with a bunch of restrictions involved. Talk about sort of your run at his seat, and your vision for your district as opposed to the vision that Mitch O'Farrell is kind of enacting right now.
Yeah, people heard, right? It's like cost the city millions of dollars and only housed 4 people. Only 4 people ended up in permanent housing. And so, we're trying to take the lessons I've learned over the last 15 years, take an organizer's approach. That's about building deep relationships, bringing the community in, regardless of different opinions that you have. And actually just listening to people. It sounds so simple, right? But you'd be surprised how much we hear that just listening to the folks doing the work matters. And so, We're trying to bring that perspective and centering on work on. I always say this, but we have to center it with a lot of love, compassion, and wisdom. And so, just trying to bring in the teachings that I've learned at the union. It's been mostly immigrant workers who have taught me these lessons, and so we're bringing them to City Hall.
I mean, it must be hard because living in and Eunisses, you're similar, living in districts that have rapidly changed and gentrified. You also have like a certain portion of residents who are like on next door complaining about people going through their trash and shit. So how do you deal with that sort of more gentrified community and getting even the folks who are like middle income to upper middle income like on your side? I know this wasn't a question. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't send you this question before, but it's like a really good question is what I wanted to say.
Hugo, you were talking. You want to go first?
I mean, yeah. So, I've done a lot of work in the neighborhood council here in Los Feliz, and so there's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of tensions, and so I think and I've learned a lot. I'm going to be honest. I come from a more different perspective than a lot of the folks that are trying to protect their homes or their encampments. But what the truth is that we have to view this issue as who is the boss, right? And so in union organizing, we say, who's the boss, right? And so the boss is not those folks that are trying to get rid of the homeless. They are not the enemy. That's not the people we are fighting. We are fighting the system. We're fighting the roots and then the cause of this, right? It is unfair that our city is short 500,000 affordable units in the city. It is unfair that the largest mental health institution of this city is the county jail, right? And so we got to really look at the root causes of what's causing, and we know that the number one cause of homelessness is financial hardship. That is because people cannot simply pay their rent. And the second issue is it's addiction. And so that is, we don't treat that with criminalization. We treat that the way the wealthy would treat anybody who has this issue, and that's give them the medical treatment that they need. And so we are lacking resources, and that's how we're going to look at it. We're going to look at the root causes of these issues.
Eunisses, tell me about your district and how that plays out in terms of getting people excited about your campaign.
Yes, thank you for that question. And so my district is kind of broken up into an area that's been very developed, but that's come with a lot of displacement. And then there's an area that has had not a lot of investment, that's actually been kind of uninvested in. And so it's like balancing, like, how does that happen? How do we invest in the community that's been forgotten and thrown under the bus? That literally, as a council member, you have the power to decide, what kind of zoning happens in your district. And when you think about like other communities such as MacArthur Park, where those parcels of land are being completely sold out to start businesses. And sorry if you hear my printer, it's really loud. But that's what we're battling in this district, where we do have a part of the district that's on next door that's saying, why are there houseless encampments next to the farmers market? But it's about really questioning really what are the root causes, like Hugo was talking about. Because in LA City, people would think, yeah, we have a health department, but LA City does not have its own health department. The city relies on the county for services. You would think that there's plentiful drug treatment, that there's plentiful mental health services, but that doesn't, a system of care just doesn't exist in the city of LA. Barely exists in the LA County, and we're building that up. But that's, I think, one of the things that I'm having to balance is like a neighborhood where it's mostly immigrants, where people are working hard. There's so many empty buildings, but it's being kind of sold out under them. And then it's like Highland Park, where it's already kind of taken over, and we haven't been able to build like power against gentrification that's taken over here.
And you actually worked on Measure J, which was a huge success. I mean, I think around the country, to some success and to different degrees of success, people have been putting into practice this idea of defunding the police and refunding social services. And so Measure J, was it 10% of the discretionary funds redirected from police into health and human services? Tell me about that campaign. And also, like, you're talking exactly about something you would invest in, which is like mental health facilities for the entire county?
Yes, thank you. So Measure J, that's a great question. I helped co-write Measure J with some of my colleagues, and it really came about because we had been doing budget work at the like, county level, at the city level, at the state level, but we had not been successful. At the city level in LA, which I fully support, the People's Budget LA work, they had been pushing that. At the county level, we had been pushing the Care First budget proposal. At the state level, we were pushing a budget to save life proposal. And what do I mean by that? I mean that literally we combed through these different jurisdictional budgets and said, look, at the LA County level, you're giving $2 million to criminalize parents for not being able to take their parents to school. Why are we not investing those $2 million in families to make sure that their kids can get to school? And we're paying at the LA County level $1 million to house, to incarcerate one young person in a probation camp for 1 year. We have imagine
Jesus.
one young person. Imagine if we invested 1 million in all of our schools at least. And so when we talk about Measure J, like we have literally done the legwork of combing through these budgets because it just goes under wraps. No one's paying attention to the budget process. When you think about it, who's a budget expert that you know of? And so Measure J was a moment of like, look, there's millions of people on the street. People have died. They've been taken because of police and state sanctioned violence. What can we do in this moment to meet the needs of the people who were by the thousands lining up for food banks, who were by the thousands owing thousands of dollars in rent and still owe thousands of dollars? Our young people suffering, small businesses. We need alternatives to incarceration. So Measure J was like, this is our moment to push this policy to move money. Our goal was 10%. That's just the floor, that's just the floor, not the ceiling. And so right now we got for the first year at least $187 million to go into the things that we really pushed for through Measure J, which is support for young people, reentry services, housing, support for reentry for women, a lot of amazing things. And really, really proud. But it was one of the things in Measure J was like law enforcement, the carceral system could not access that money.
Yeah, absolutely. That you just put a little like one of those electrified fences around some money and a shock collar on the police. Yes, I said it. No. I gotta ask you, Hugo and Eunisses, the city council of LA is like rife with corruption. There's like crazy amounts of corruption. I've only lived in the city for a few years, but I learned about former council member Mitchell Englander, who's serving a federal prison sentence for receiving bribes. Council member Ridley Thomas supporting millions of dollars in public contracts for USC in exchange for getting a scholarship and paid professorship for his son. The council member Cedillo in your district, Eunisses, his son, Cedillo's son, got a job in a municipal water district, even though he had no experience in public administration. Like, do you guys how do you people who are working on the grassroots, who've done actual really amazing work, this is such a corrupt body? Not all, but it's like, how does that make you feel? And why make a run at these seats and at city council?
Yeah, I mean, it makes me incredibly angry. I mean, as a lifelong Angelino, you see, I mean, someone who is organized with immigrant women and dishwashers and cooks. And, part of the organizing work that we do is we visit them at their homes. We get to know them very intimately, their kids, and we build these really deep relationships. And so you see the effects of a very powerful person and how it affects a person's life, right? And so, I'm very proud to say that Eunisses and I are not taking any cop money, any fossil fuel money, any developer or corporate money, because neither of us are working for them. We are working for the people. And I think one of the mantras that I've learned in the union when you organize is how do you take a group of workers and you defeat a corporation in order to win a union contract with wages and healthcare and all the benefits that you get with a union. And you do that by building power. Right, you build enough power in the community where you have collectively you have more power than the corporation. And so our slogan is community power, because we're going to take an organizer's approach to the work that we do in the district. We're going to recruit people. We're going to train them through the process, because when we take that seat, we're taking it for them, and we're going to build more power than the developers and the corporations that are currently funding the incumbent that I'm going against. And so that's that's how I feel, and that's how we're going to change it. It's just take an organizer's approach to city politics.
Yeah. So in a way, getting buy-in so that people actually, because I feel like it's like, this stuff happens under folks' nose, and that's because we're so disconnected from our city council members, and we're so maybe even used to that kind of corruption on that level. Eunisses, what's your vision for this city that is often on fire and full of traffic, homeless population going up, folks evicted from their homes? Obviously, we know, especially now with all kinds of things running out, whether it's eviction moratoriums, student loan forgiveness back on, or ending at the end of the year. What is your vision if you were to, and if you're not on city council?
Great, thank you. So we're gonna put it on the universe when I'm on city council. What the vision is, and I'd like to start off by just saying that I was gonna be a cop, and that I got my bachelor's in criminal justice because that's what I thought that I was gonna be, and then during getting my degree, that's when it shifted where I can't change the system, and so after school, I struggled, but I ended up doing policy work. But my work is driven because of a lot of the lived experiences, right, that I saw growing up, and that's what dictates my policy. That's what dictates my values. I'm a values driven person in what my vision is. When if the decision or policy that we're moving forward is going to leave someone behind, we're not doing it. If the policy or decision moving forward going to build something we have to destroy in the future, we're not doing it. If it's going to the decision or movement going to give more money and more power to the systems that we're trying to dismantle, then we're not doing it. And that really causes and it challenges us to find alternate, solutions that we can implement. And so my vision of an LA city is that there's one, housing for all. So implementing policies such as enforcing tenant protections and creating more permanent supportive housing. Hugo mentioned it earlier. The most visible piece around someone being unhoused is, perhaps their mental health or substance use, but really it's this financial economic drivers that are 60%. Loss is saying 60% of people that are houseless right now are for financial reasons. What are we doing to stem this arterial bleed of people just not being able to afford the housing, right?
Yeah.
And so housing for all. The second piece is what I'm calling care not cages. So when we have mental health crises of harm or violence, intimate partner violence, that we have life affirming responses when you call the number, that it's not someone that shows up with a gun, but someone that really knows and has been educated and has dedicated their education to learning how to de-escalate situations. Just one example. And then the last piece is around budget accountability. Our budget is billions and billions of dollars. When we talk about the general fund, that is money that could go to anything, and it's billions of dollars worth. Why are we not deciding through a democratic process what that money goes to if we're the one paying taxes? When you pay your property taxes, when you go to the store, all of that should be our choices. So for me, it's an LA city where we can all plug into these pieces, where everybody's housed, where our money goes to what we want, and where the responses to our most hard times, crises, are life affirming.
I love it.
Damn.
Damn.
Pretty good, I'd say. You guys seem to be pretty good with answers.
Well, we've tried to trick them. I don't know. Gareth, you got a good gotcha question?
Well, can I just say that it's amazing that, because I do think when it comes to mental health and, how we take care of people with mental health issues, it's fun to talk about Nancy Reagan and her status as the blowjob queen. Because you think of the other side of that coin was Ronald Reagan was the one who was deciding to remove program after program, which were there. It wasn't that long ago that there were places where there was a differentiation between a quote unquote criminal and someone who needed mental help. And my question is, how crazy is it that the things you two are saying are so foreign that they've become such foreign ways of running, when you are saying I am going to be there as an actual reflection of people? I mean, and that message is almost difficult to get out. How much of a hill is that to climb?
I have a lot of hope because this has been, over 50 years of concerted attacks, neoliberal agendas, against the working class. Their first attack was to try to destroy the labor movement, because I still believe that is the best vehicle for larger systemic change. But in Los Angeles, right, there's a lot happening. The labor movement made a conscious decision to organize undocumented workers in the late 80s. It was very concerted, and there was a lot of division in the labor movement whether we should even do that. And so I'm very happy that my union was one of those unions that said, no, we are going to organize undocumented workers, because that is the incoming workers in the city. That has been going on for over 40 years, about 40 years now. And so we've come to a point where the labor movement is meeting, right, the movement that was started. I hate to give Bernie Sanders a lot of credit, but that's sort of sparked a lot of flames in people, right? And so you have a labor movement that is about 40 years mature, with a budding, amazing grassroots organizing that's happening in the city. And so I think what Eunisses and I both represent is a marriage of those two movements. And I think this is the first time that those two movements are coming together. And I think we can be the standard bearer for the country. I think there's a lot of progressive cities in the United States, but I think what we're doing in Los Angeles is absolutely, groundbreaking, and we're going to set the standard. And hopefully, as opposed to, having the SWAT team be part of national policy, we're going to pass progressive policies that we can transplant to the rest of the country.
I love that. And you can always give Bernie Sanders credit on this show. It's Tio Bernie. He deserves it. I do want to ask you more about those barriers. Like which industries or people are your campaigns like kicking the hornet's nest of? Like what kind of like sort of like cash filled, a nest is getting up worried that you guys are running?
Well, I mean, I think to start off is the budget piece, because right now, although there's billions of dollars, because it's been unwatched, many of these departments, particularly carceral departments such as law enforcement, have been sucking absorbent amounts of that budget. And so when we talk about, funding the things we wish to see, which is access to supportive services, permanent supportive housing, and using our money to do it, it's going to require us to move some of those general funds. And I expect that folks will not be happy about that. But what folks have to understand is that there are ways that we can actually transfer jobs out of this system of harm into the supportive system. During the environmental justice space, they have something called a just transition, transferring like oil dirty jobs, to clean energy jobs. Same with the carceral system. Our goal at the county level through the coalition I work with at Justice LA, or that I'm a part of, we've been trying to close down Men's Central Jail. If we close down that, when we close that jail down, we want to push to transfer those jobs into building out this alternate system of care. And so I feel like law enforcement special interest groups, perhaps other unions, but I think what Measure J has proven is that there's a way where we can marriage that, where we can have that, collaborative partnership relationship to really get to what community needs. Because even right now, labor is a part of, the implementation of Measure J. So I'm hopeful, and Hugo's part of the labor movement, but pushing to close down jails to invest in community has not been something that everybody's super down for.
Okay, one last question, because we got to move on to our final segment, but I do want to ask you about Mayor Garcetti, who is leaving office at the end of next year and is going to be the ambassador to India because he does yoga or something. Like, I really want to know what that fucking conversation was like with him on the phone with like Biden. It was like, do you know what a downward dog is? Like, what the fuck? Like what was it? Anyway, so Garcetti's leaving. We will have an election. And we've got, on the one hand, a guy named Rick Caruso who owns a mall here called The Grove, who wants to run for mayor.
It's a very diverse mall for people who don't pay attention to LA.
Yeah, very diverse. There's like a Claire's Accessories and a Hot Topic.
That's right, exactly.
JK, it's got neither of those things. I think way too working class for the Grove. So this dude wants to run. There's a number of people, but also Representative Karen Bass, who's the former chair of the Congressional Progressive Black Caucus, or the Congressional Black Caucus. Also, who's seen as a front runner. Any thoughts on this mayoral race coming up?
Yes, real quick. And Hugo, I'll pass it to you. But I've heard a few of the candidates speak, and I really think that they need to get their ish together. I think that candidates are jaded AF, right? Like they're tired of these promises, but there's clear policies, clear recommendations of what they could do to address houselessness without criminalizing folks, without sweeping them, without sweeping encampments. And so for me, who's at least paying attention and a
Mm.
voter, like I need them to step up on speaking more than just these platitudes of like empty words and like, no, what are the solutions? I want to hear, are you just going to sweep encampments, or what are you really going to do? Because there are just too many clear examples of what the alternates are to really humanize folks and support them, rather than just what what people are doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would add, get involved, pay attention, do the work. This is the first time that our mayoral race are lined up with the federal elections. And when Eric Garcetti got reelected, he got reelected with 20% voter turnout. So voter turnout is going to be in the 20%. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the 60, 70%. And I would say that the soul of our city is at stake. We have rising fascist wing, that is emerging here, and they're using the homeless as a scapegoat. And then you have folks like Eunisses and I who are bringing, these values of love and compassion in the community. And so we're going to win out. If people like us win, it's going to be a new direction for the city. And so, yeah, get involved, pay attention. You got to do the work. Democracy is not a spectator sport.
Hell yeah. Thank you both for being on. And how can we get involved or find out more about your campaign? Eunisses, what's that website?
Website is myname.com, EUNISS.com. Follow me on Twitter. We need volunteers. We need you all to donate. If you want to host a fundraiser, let me know. There's a huge reporting deadline at the end of December. And so we need as many people to plug in, and we're a part of the matching funds program. So if you live in LA, anything you donate anything below $114, $114 is matched by the city times 6. So yes, please plug in, donate. Thank you.
Oh, shit. I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah,
Everybody donate. And Hugo.
Yeah, our website is Hugo. It's HUGO. The H is silent. 2022.com. Our handles on social media is Hugo for CD13. Likewise, that's where you can donate, volunteer. We're not taking any conflicted money, so we're doing this 100% grassroots.
Amazing. Thank you guys both so much. And will you stay for our very final fun segment? I promise. Fun.
I certainly will. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. This was great because I was like, you guys are gonna have to throw down. Let's see what you got on this. Let's see what I got on this. Where's my interstitial? Oh Lord, I didn't upload it. Hang on. Damn it. I am without producer, but
you need like a wipe.
We need to get you.
We need a wipe.
We need a union contract for Francesca.
This is
No.
this is how it happens.
Don't audit this show ever. But become a patron. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. My old producer Becca made this graphic, and I didn't upload it, but that's okay. I love her all the same. She loves me, I'm sure. I want to ask: have you guys heard about this new movement called "Birds Aren't Real"? So there is a fake conspiracy theory created by a 19-year-old who's now 23, called "Birds Aren't Real," and he is kind of my hero. Drives around in a van that says "Birds Aren't Real." Also says things like "Birds charge on power lines," which is so funny. I wish I would have thought of it. And it skewers sort of the world that we live in now, how toxic and ridiculous conspiracy theories like QAnon, etc., are, and how people will believe literally anything. But I want to know, what is your conspiracy theory? If you had to choose one that like is fake, that you want to lead people, this is like you're the head of it. You drive around in a white van with these words on it. What would it be? What is your fake? And everyone in the comments, what's your fake conspiracy theory? Let me know. Who wants to go first? Oh, I will. Thanks. So I think that I want to start the conspiracy theory that pumpkin spice was invented by Black Lives Matter. And when you drink a pumpkin spice latte, you are critical race theory. Like you become you download all like every Bell Hooks book and every Toni Morrison novel like just into your brain. In which case I would drink the fuck out of pumpkin spice. But that's what I want to spread. The other theory I would like to spread is that speed bumps are actually Clinton victims that have been paved over. That's the Clinton body count, dude. And yeah. Gareth, would you join my movement?
Absolutely. There's enough. The Clintons have killed thousands and thousands of people, but we only focus on the few that we know they had a direct hand in.
Sure.
But their policies, I do believe, would give you the speed bumps you need.
But that's why there's so many speed bumps, though.
Yeah, it would honestly.
Like
I think
Haiti, the country of Haiti,
street would just be like potholes. God,
Haiti's full of speed bumps because the Clintons and everything they did there. Eunisses, what's your fake conspiracy theory? Like birds aren't real.
Mine would be that the COVID-19 vaccination, the vaccine actually ups your chances of winning the lottery.
Ooh.
In Ohio, it sort of did.
Yeah,
right. I mean, that's
exactly.
Really shows you the Squid Game of the vaccine that was happening.
Didn't we everywhere try to do that? Like Newsom was pulling names out of a fucking Powerball situation.
Yeah. Newsom was like single payer, maybe.
Maybe.
Whoops, I forgot. The vaccine makes you forget promises. That's what happened to Newsom.
Hugo, your fake conspiracy. Birds aren't real.
Well, I brought two. One is the dogs created COVID because they want their humans to stay at home. Because if anybody that has a dog knows that it's like the saddest thing. They don't want you to leave the home. So the dogs created COVID.
That is very believable.
Yeah, and my second one would be because I'm a big Tupac fan. Is Tupac was always a hologram. And so
I always thought about that Coachella where they did the Tupac hologram because if you're at Coachella, you're probably partaking in some sort of intoxicant. That's off record. Some sort of intoxicant. But if I was there is no doubt in my mind I would have left the show thinking Tupac was still around. And like 2 days later, someone would have been like, yeah, the hologram. And I'd be like, hologram?
I have one more that came up for me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The COVID-19 vaccine gets rid of erectile dysfunction.
I mean, we know getting COVID can lead to erectile dysfunction. So basically that is real.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
They found COVID in the penile tissue. I just wanted to say penile tissue. That was really an excuse.
Reagan actually found a bunch of it.
She tried to get it all out. Mission. She was really.
She was like, "You're clean, Ronnie." He was like, "Oh, right. Off to my office. That's the bathroom."
Gareth, what is your birds aren't real fake conspiracy theory?
Here you go. Planes are trains. So that whenever you get on a plane, they're doing some bullshit where you got your little pinhole window. That's a backdrop of some sort, and you're just taking bullet trains places. But we want to believe that we're flying, but in reality, we're just on trains. I mean, it makes no sense, man.
Mr. Potato, Bacon, and Egg and Cheese, great name, says air trains.
Air trains.
Air trains.
But planes are trains. Looks like I would put that on a white van.
Planes are trains. Yeah, people be like, what do you mean?
There's actually there's paid actors who just go whoosh.
Yeah.
They make a human sound.
Yeah, no, and then they put you in a little turbulence thing, and some actor up front's like, "All right, everybody, hold on for a second. Sorry, we're hitting an air pocket."
I would love that. Actually, I should remember that when we hit air pockets so I don't get nervous. Be like, oh my God, planes are just trains.
Just whisper that to the person. Don't be worried. These are trains. You want another beer, my man, or is it just me? Planes or trains, don't worry.
Slip him a card. All right. Hugo Soto-Martinez, Eunisses Hernandez, thank you so much for being on. You guys are wonderful. Everybody go to their websites, check them out, donate your time, your money, whatever you can give. And if you're not in LA, can you accept out of state? Can we do some dark money shit?
Yeah.
No, not dark money. No.
Community money, but we'll take community money from New York.
Okay.
We'll take community from Delaware, all the community money.
Especially Delaware.
Especially. It's worth more. All right, you guys, be so well. Thank you so much. Take good care. And Gareth, how can people find your awesome work and watch you live?
Well, you can go to my social media is @ReynoldsGareth on Instagram and Twitter and maybe TikTok. I am on there. I'm not sure if I'm on there, but it's My Planes or Trains. I don't know if I'm I don't even believe in TikTok, man. And then you can go to GarethReynolds.com for stand-up dates. I tour a lot. And then you can go to dolloppodcast.com for dollop dates. We have a live virtual dollop if people want to check out a live event a week this Thursday at which is the 16th.
Amazing.
So yeah, but go to my social media. And thank you so much for having me. This was great.
Oh my God, thanks for being on. But
no producer, you do a great job. I know you're probably like, you think there were some snags, but there were some Clinton speed bumps, but I thought it was actually great. There's high production value.
All right, stop wasting your breath because we've got more for Patron only. Gareth, I'm watching it dawn on him that he's got to stick around to talk about Santa. I'm very excited. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room to see more of Gareth or see him live or listen and watch the dollop live. Thanks so much, Gareth. Take good care.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody who's been in the chat, who's been around, who's given a super chat. Kathy, Dave, Kaio, to the Twitch subs, Aussie Plant the Hermit, Daisy Dragon, Kaleope Dragon, Dean O'Boyer. Thank you guys so much for resubscribing or subscribing. I'm digging your answers to all the conspiracy theories. Bacon can make you fly. Good one. Although very much counter to every time, space, I don't know. Physics. Yeah, that's the one. Jacob Estes says, get Francesca on the dollop, you cowards. I hope Gareth was listening. Industrial Arts Denver Co. says, money isn't real. Biggest conspiracy of them all. Ooh. And final segment, Shane, for the final segment, this segment, Shade Woodward says, BBC porn was invented by the BBC channel. And on that note, I'm going to go Google BBC porn. Thank you guys so much for being here. To all the patrons, thank you to Maximillien Inhoff, to Ellie Hoffman, to Alexandra Ornes on the other side of these amazing comments. We stream every Sunday, 5/8 Eastern on YouTube and Twitch. Next week, I've got Molly Jong Fast on for the hour. I'm super excited. So remember, guys, fight the power, fuck the patriarchy, and don't just bitch about it. Be about it. Bye.